Hey guys, it's Jordan from Weller Health Education with Lehigh Valley Hospital. Most of you may know me from coming into your schools and talking about different health topics. If you don't know me, basically what I do is I visit different schools, talk about different health topics. As you can see, I'm talking to you through a computer screen. We are virtually learning today, so whether you're in school, at home, wherever you may be, you can access this video and hopefully learn something new. So today we're talking about something I think is important. We're talking about vaping. I think this topic's important because you probably know somebody who vapes, whether it's you yourself, a family member, a friend, maybe just somebody in your community. There are a lot of people who are impacted by vaping, and it's important that we learn a little bit about that topic. So I hope that you guys learned something new today. This is actually going to be a two-part series. So this is part one. And then if you still want to learn a little bit more about vaping, we're actually going to have part two up next. You can learn even more about vaping, what it does to the body, all the nicotine that's in it, what nicotine does to the body. And we have a lot of facts just surrounding the topic. So again, I hope you learned something new today, and I hope you enjoy this video. So basically how a vape works is when you press that button, it is powered by a lithium battery. That lithium battery then heats up the vape liquid or e-liquid inside of that vape product that you are then inhaling. So basically it's taking that liquid and it's changing the chemical compositions of it and turning it into something more dangerous. It's turning it into that aerosol that you breathe in that can be harmful or detrimental to your lungs. What are e-cigarettes or vape products? So they're often referred to by many different names. So you may hear it being referred to as an e-cigarette or an e-cig. You may hear it referred to as a vape product or some kind of brand name. And I think that at times it can get really confusing. So there are tons of different names, but they're all referring to the same thing. Any of the names that are listed above are vape products. So you might hear e-cigarette, e-hookahs, mods, vape pens, vapes, THC pens, or weed pens. So basically how this product works is it heats up a liquid. Most of the time that liquid contains nicotine. Nicotine is the addictive drug in tobacco products. And as it's heating up and you inhale that product, it actually turns into something called an aerosol that people then inhale into their lungs. So like I said, most of them do contain nicotine, but they can also contain many other drugs as well. So marijuana is one of the top products that is used in an e-cigarette or vape product. And just a little statistic for you guys, in 2016, approximately 1/3 of U.S. middle and high school students who have ever used a vape product reported using marijuana in their device. So that means about 33% of students or teenagers have been using marijuana or THC, which is the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana that causes people to feel high in their vape products. So it's actually in a vape cloud. Most people say, well, it's just water vapor that I'm inhaling. So it's not just water vapor that you're inhaling. Instead, it's something called aerosol. This aerosol contains harmful substances such as nicotine, like we talked about, known carcinogens. So carcinogen is a cancer-causing agent, something that causes cancer in your body. Heavy metals such as nickel, tin, and lead. Flavorings such as diacetyl. And diacetyl is something that causes popcorn lung, which you might have heard of it before. It's found in a lot of different flavorings, so diacetyl is linked to that. And diacetyl can cause tons and tons of scarring on your lung tissue, and once you have scarring on that lung tissue, it never goes away. And all of these things that are found in this aerosol are found in the ultra-fine particle range. So that means that these particles are super, super tiny. When we inhale them, our bodies have no way of absorbing them or releasing them, so they just get trapped and they build up over time. So if we're inhaling known cancer-causing agents in tiny little particles, and they're starting to build up inside of our lungs, we can predict that in the future, we may have some type of lung issue because of those carcinogens. Same thing with the heavy metals. If we're inhaling tons of different heavy metals in that ultra-fine particle range, and our body cannot get rid of those toxins, and they start to build up inside of our lungs, knowing we have heavy metals building up inside of our lungs, we can predict that in the future, again, we're probably going to have some type of health issue associated with our lungs because of this. So what are some of the health effects of using e-cigarettes or vape products? Here's what we currently know. These products are fairly new and haven't been around long enough to study the long-term effects that they will have on the body. But this is what scientists are saying. Most e-cigarettes or vape products contain nicotine. Actually, about 98.7% of all vape products on the market do have some form of nicotine inside of them. Nicotine has been studied for years and is highly addictive. It's actually considered the third most addictive substance on the planet. Nicotine can be very harmful to adolescent brain development, which continues into the early 20s. So all of the people that are in middle school and high school who are using these vape products, your brains are not yet fully developed. So not only does it make it easier for you to become addicted to nicotine, but it's also harmful to the development of your brain. In the state of Pennsylvania, the law used to be that if you were 18, you would be able to buy these vape products. But as of July 1st, 2020, the law actually increased from 18 to 21. And that's based off of how nicotine is affecting brain development. So at least when you are 21, it's a little bit harder to become addicted to it. Your brain is closer to being fully developed. And hopefully by 21, you're just better at making decisions for yourself. They are also banned on school grounds and property. You can get fined by the police for using them in school or anywhere on school property. Another effect of nicotine is those pods contain a liquid that you then insert into your vape product. So those pods, that liquid that's in those pods, does contain nicotine and other types of chemicals. And when people actually are exposed to it by drinking it or putting it in their mouth instead of vaping it, it's actually very harmful. So if a child gets a hold of this pod and then tries to drink that liquid, they can actually get acute nicotine exposure. And a lot of children who accidentally get their hands on these pods and they drink it on accident or inhale it in some way, they actually get really sick, and some people have died from it. Another effect comes from that aerosol. So the aerosol that contains harmful substances that reaches deep into our lungs and gets trapped creates scarring on our lung tissue, which again we know will create issues for our lungs later down the road. We can predict that there's probably certain types of cancers that can come from this, different types of lung injuries due to those heavy metals building up inside of our lungs. And just putting our lungs through all that damage, we know that there will be some effects that it does have in the future. Another effect of vaping would be unintended injuries. So these vape products are powered by lithium batteries. Lithium batteries are known to overheat. When they overheat, they can actually explode, which would cause fires or serious injuries like burns on your skin or your face. So this does happen, and it happens very randomly. There's no warning sign. There's no way to prevent it. It kind of just happens. Maybe you get a faulty one. Maybe you charge it for too long. It overheats. So there's really no way to prevent this. But it is something that can happen if you do choose to vape. So one question I get asked a lot is, does vaping help people to quit smoking? So e-cigarettes and vape products are currently not approved by the FDA as a quit smoking aid, and there's just not enough evidence out there to state that vaping is a healthy and safe tool to help us quit smoking cigarettes. Now, a recent CDC study found that many adults who are using e-cigarettes in an attempt to quit smoking, but they're not only using e-cigarettes, but they're still using tobacco smoking cigarettes as well. So we call this dual use. So because smoking even a few cigarettes a day can be dangerous, quitting smoking completely is probably the best way. We don't want to use two products at once. Now the issue is that a lot of people who don't smoke tobacco cigarettes actually start vaping. In fact, one of the biggest issues associated with vaping is that they are the most commonly used tobacco product among our youth today. As you can see in this graphic, it says that 3.6 million U.S. middle and high school students used vape products in the last 30 days. And in the U.S., youth are more likely than adults to actually use vape products. So even if the intended purpose of a vape product is to help people quit smoking, we have tons of people who don't smoke at all
who are now using these products and becoming addicted to nicotine. And there are very high levels of nicotine in these products. So as of right now, vaping is not proven to help somebody to quit smoking. And like I said, most people are using both products at the same time, which again is not proven to help somebody to quit. So the only way right now that it could be beneficial to somebody is if they're smoking a lot of cigarettes a day and they use vape products as a way to wean themselves off that nicotine. So maybe they smoke a pack of cigarettes a day and they say, okay, well, 200 puffs on my vape is equivalent to a pack of cigarettes. Now, if I smoke a pack a day, instead of using 200 puffs, I'm going to use 100 a day. And then I'm going to use 50 puffs and then 25. But the only way that they can completely quit is that they quit both products, because both products contain nicotine and harmful chemicals. So they could possibly use vaping as a way to wean themselves off, but replacing smoking with vape products is not good for you, and it is not an effective way to quit smoking. And just to wrap up that topic, here's another statistic for you guys. So among current vape users under the age of 24, 40% of them said that they've never been regular cigarette smokers. So they've never smoked a regular cigarette, yet they use vape products. And like I said, you can become addicted to vape products. So that's a really big issue that a lot of students are facing. And I put a graphic down in the bottom left-hand corner just to show you that there are tons more students vaping than there are smoking cigarettes or cigars or even doing hookah. Hookah is also a form of a tobacco product as well. So they actually said that teens who start vaping are actually 4 times more likely to start smoking tobacco cigarettes just a year later. So that's a really big statistic that they threw out there. So if you start smoking, you may become addicted to regular cigarettes, and that's just because of how much nicotine is being provided in that vape. And vaping is going to just kind of direct you towards other outlets. So it could get you to start using marijuana products. It could get you to start smoking. So just keep that in mind. Since vaping is a big topic, it's something I'm very passionate about talking about, I thought that this video could be broken down into 2 parts. So you guys just finished part 1. So stay tuned for part 2 if you want to learn more about vaping. We're going to go into more details in part 2 of this video. So thank you for watching the first part, and I hope that you stay tuned for part 2.